Your 6 functions of the hip. Does everybody know these ones okay? So your flexion, extension, your adduction, your abduction, your external rotation, and your internal rotation. You've covered those good? Yeah? Awesome. So that's the 6 functions of the hips. So rather than starting to think about individual muscles, so in the mobility world, and if someone gets injured and starts to feel pain and they maybe go and see a professional and stuff, you can start to fall into the trap of having like one muscle being blamed. So if any of you guys ever heard of like someone just like, oh, I've got a really weak glute med and I need to do glute med activation exercises, or I've got a tight piriformis, or oh, my hip flexors are weak or tight. You've got all of these things that can kind of, you can bounce around and be like, oh, this must be a problem. But if you boil it down to the actual functions of the hips and you address them really well and you have movements that work on them really well, muscles will figure themselves out. You don't need to be so hyper-specific. And one of the biggest issues as well is if you start to get focused with a lot of things, where people feel most pain is in and around the glutes and the lower back and stuff. So what usually gets addressed so much is the extension and the abduction and the external rotation. So all movements like clamshells, things that go like that, the pigeon stretch and glute bridges, all of those things are what get fired at people in like rehab programs and stuff. So what gets completely missed out is the likes of deep flexion, the adduction, the actual inside of the leg, and the internal rotation. So you can get a lot of quick wins with people by making sure you're hitting all 6, and you're most likely going to see issues with some of them. And if you start to work on them, muscles will figure themselves out.